Assalamu alaikum, I'm Aisha and you're watching Samaa News. Here are today's headlines. The United States and Iran exchange fresh military strikes for a second straight day on Thursday, escalating tensions across the Gulf after Washington targeted around 90 Iranian military sites and Tehran retaliated with missile and drone attacks on US-linked bases in Kuwait and Bahrain. The US said the strikes targeted air defense systems, missile and drone sites, naval assets, and military infrastructure following alleged Iranian attacks on commercial vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. President Donald Trump described the operation as retaliation and warned of stronger action if shipping attacks continue. Iranian media reported explosions across several southern cities, while authorities said at least 3 people were killed near Avaz. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps said its attacks on US military facilities in Kuwait and Bahrain marked the first phase of a punitive response, warning of further retaliation if US strikes continue. Iran's top negotiator and parliament speaker Mohammad Bakir Kalibaf warned the United States that any further military action would be met with retaliation, declaring, "If you strike, you'll get hit." In a post on X, Kalibaf said the Strait of Hormuz would reopen only under Iranian arrangements, rejecting what he described as US threats. His remarks came after fresh US strikes on Iran and renewed attacks targeting American interests in the Gulf. The exchange has cast doubt on efforts to turn the recently signed Memorandum of Understanding into a lasting peace agreement, with US President Donald Trump saying he believes the deal is over.
Iran says US military strikes over the past 48 hours have killed 14 people and injured 78 others across 5 provinces. According to Iran's health ministry, the attacks took place during 2 consecutive days of military operations, further escalating tensions between Tehran and Washington. Officials have not released a province-wise breakdown of the casualties or identified the victims.
Iran accuses NATO Secretary-General Mark Rutte of admitting Europe's willful complicity in the US-Israeli military campaign, saying countries that provided logistical support and military infrastructure share responsibility for the conflict. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Ismail Baghaei said nations that allowed their territory and bases to be used cannot evade responsibility for what Tehran called an unlawful war of aggression. The remarks came after Rutte defended recent US strikes on Iran as absolutely necessary and said thousands of US military aircraft had operated from European bases during the conflict. President Donald Trump has said that he does not expect a full-scale conflict with Iran, despite recent military exchanges. Speaking after the NATO summit, Trump said any further escalation would be brief and claimed it would ultimately improve regional security and oil supplies. He also repeated his claim that he is Iran's #1 assassination target. Iran has warned the United States against any military invasion, saying not a single American soldier will return alive. Iranian official Ebrahim Rezaiei was responding to President Donald Trump's threats of further strikes. Meanwhile, Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Ismail Baghaei accused Washington of violating the Islamabad Memorandum of Understanding, saying the US had undermined commitments linked to security in the Strait of Hormuz and warned it would continue defending its national interests. Pakistan has urged the United States and Iran to honor their commitments under the Islamabad Memorandum of Understanding as tensions in the Middle East rise. The Foreign Office called for restraint, dialogue and diplomacy, saying renewed conflict would serve no one's interests. Islamabad also reaffirmed its readiness to continue playing a mediating role between Washington and Tehran. The coffin of Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Sayyid Ali Khamenei, is being transported from Najaf, Iraq, to Mashhad, where he will be buried today at the shrine of Imam Reza, concluding 6 days of funeral ceremonies. Iranian officials said millions attended funeral processions in Tehran, Qom, Najaf, and Karbala, with large crowds gathering to pay their final respects. According to Khamenei's office, the late leader had requested to be buried near the Imam Reza shrine in Mashhad, where the final burial ceremony will take place.
United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has praised Pakistan's efforts to promote regional and global peace during a meeting with Interior Minister Mohsin Naqvi at the UN headquarters in New York. The two leaders discussed the regional security situation, Pakistan's mediation efforts in West Asia, and the country's long-standing contribution to UN peacekeeping missions. Naqvi reaffirmed Pakistan's commitment to promoting peace, stability, and dialogue, despite ongoing regional challenges.
President Donald Trump has said that the United States will grant Ukraine a license to manufacture Patriot missiles. Meeting President Volodymyr Zelensky at the NATO summit, Trump described the Patriot as a defensive weapon and said Washington could pressure manufacturers to increase production. Zelensky has repeatedly sought more Patriot systems to counter Russian missile attacks.
US President Trump has said that he ordered Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent to cut off all trade with Spain, calling Madrid a terrible partner in NATO. Speaking alongside NATO Secretary-General Mark Rutte at the start of the summit in Ankara, Trump said he wanted no business with Spain. He told Rutte that Spain doesn't agree to anything and should not be carried by the rest of the alliance. Meanwhile, the Spanish Prime Minister's office said Madrid was taking Trump's comments calmly and treating them as business as usual. The statement said Spain had no intention of changing its excellent social, cultural, and economic relationship with the United States.
Pakistan's security forces have reportedly killed 54 terrorists in retaliatory operations following 3 major attacks in Balochistan. Addressing a press conference, ISPR Director General Lieutenant General Ahmed Sharif Chaudhry said that 42 civilians and security personnel were martyred in the attacks. He said operations in Ziarat, Mangi Dam, Karan, Dalbandine, and along the N25 highway eliminated the attackers. He also criticized India for backing the violence and said that Afghan nationals operating from Afghan territory were involved in the attacks.
That's all for now. For more updates, visit www.samaa.tv. Thank you for watching Samaa News.